Hello and welcome back for the East 1 and 2 bonus video. For the first part of this, we will be taking on the East 1 boss rush, in which we have fixed equipment, fixed levels, and all the bosses we know to love and hate. So it's been a little while since I've done an East video. There's been some real life stuff, but I guess I'll kind of use this as my announcement platform. Okay. I'm still committed to eventually doing East the Mask of the Sun. I've planned out a route and a how-to off-screen all of the rather unfortunate grinding I have to do for that game. And the reason I chose Mask of the Sun over Dawn of East is, while I do know that Dawn of East now has a dub patch and a translation patch, so I technically could do it whenever I wanted to. The thing is, there are some parts of Dawn of East that feel more like East fanfiction than an original East game. So I'm going to be giving that a pass for at least a little while. However, before I do Mask, in between the last East video I did and this one, a game that I never thought, well, games I never thought would be localized actually did recently get localized, so those actually have priority. In any case, I've also had some time to think about the East series and so on, and especially East 1 and 2. And I only really thought of this a little bit when, right after I'd seen Star Trek Into Darkness. I guess the reason that I keep on coming back to East 1 and 2, despite the fact that, well, actually it's because of It's So Simple and so on, but also because it comes back to a time in video games and RPGs in particular where you could actually stop the bad guys from getting away with things. Oh yeah, this guy and, slow down. This guy and Dark Fact are the two big run killers for, boss rush for me. Because I watched Star Trek Into Darkness, and I watched the first Star Trek reboot movie, and, well, the thing I was thinking of, well, what happened to the days of Star Trek where they actually stopped the bad guys before they got away with causing death and destruction on a massive scale? Because these two aren't it. And this got back to me thinking about RPGs and the difference between East and the other things that came after it. Most notably, of course, and I've ranted on this before, the Final Fantasy series. So I guess that's really what I want to see more of. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the East mold, because I don't think anything does East better than East. But it seems to me that a lot more and more RPGs over time have become almost exclusively revenge plots over something or other. It doesn't necessarily have to be a person, it's a place or event or some other thing like that. And they're only revenge plots because writers feel that it's necessary to keep the main character from actually being able to thwart X number of plots by the main villain in order to create a satisfactory experience, and I don't think that sort of thing is necessary at all. I was about to say here comes Mantis Man, but I'm sure that Mantis Man was a Kamen Rider villain at some point. Okay, time to do some sculpting. Yeah, the reason I don't care to show off the East 1 bosses on harder difficulties is that the East 1 bosses basically are about bigger numbers on harder difficulties, not really making any interesting changes at all. Like, Vigolian becomes tedious as well as horrendous, so... Yag and Omu became much more interesting when East Origin rolled around. I had considered doing East Origin, but that would take forever considering how thorough I like to be most of the time. It's something I'll save until I really had enough time to get in the proper mood and mindset for it. If my PC ever used a controller, I think this would have been the boss that would have made me break it before I figured out the trick you needed to beat him. Okay, now I had considered doing the East 2 boss rush, but since I had all of the saves left over from the preparation runs I did for the Let's Play, I decided to put together a compilation of the East 2 hard mode bosses. That's normal. I will be selecting the correct save about now. There we go. Some bosses are more obviously different on hard mode, such as Velagander, whose shot pattern is about twice as wide. So you basically need to play Pong and run to the exact opposite sides of the arena. Otherwise, you will get caught in his shooting patterns. Once you do that, though, he's not too bad. Okay, Tiamat is certainly different because he shoots out more ice waves. And he also plants a lot more ice blocks in the field, meaning that it's pretty easy to get accidentally trapped. You know, like so. You see, landing on me killed me so fast that I was dead before my life bar even reached 0. So, let's try that again. I don't know why I felt the need to prove that I'd beaten the game on hard mode myself. But, you know, people can say a lot on the internet and not feel the need to back it up. Or, you know, have any proof that backs up what they say, so I decide to furnish some. Okay, Galaldi isn't actually that much different. He just tends to drop those fire creatures much earlier than he did on easier difficulties. The snake isn't any faster, he doesn't have any more hit points. You just need to have better accuracy than I do. Playing this game again did also make me wonder what's going to be up for the next inevitable re-release of Ys 1 and 2. Because I think Falcom is fairly committed towards using Ys 1 and 2 complete as the basis for all future Ys games. And they're pretty much guaranteed to release Ys 1 and 2 at least once every generation. Because the 8-bit generation was the original Ys 1 and 2. For the 16-bit, they released it for the TurboGrafx CD. For the PlayStation generation, they released it for the Sega Saturn. After that was Ys Complete, which was eventually released for the PlayStation 2. And then there's this version, which was originally released for the PSP. So we can pretty reliably expect another re-release of Ys 1 and 2 within the next 6 or 7 years. Okay, time to magic up. Droigar's main difference is the fact that he spews his eggs a lot more frequently, and his homing shots actually come out more often and move faster. Well, a little faster anyway. Oh yeah, and his eggs shoot out faster projectiles too. But same strategies generally apply. Zava is painful enough on normal, but on hard it's a whole new kettle. Her bats are much more aggressive, fire a lot more shots, and can very easily pin you down in the corner and just plug you to death full of bullets. Which is why I actually brought healing items. I feel no shame in using healing items on hard mode runs. Because if the game didn't want me to use them, they wouldn't be there. Oath in Felghana does not want you to use healing items in the middle of battle, so it doesn't give you any. And even though Ys 5 is considered probably the worst game in the East series, I still want to play it at some point. If only because that's when Falcom completely decided what direction they wanted the East series to take as far as gameplay went. East 5 is really the ancestor of Ark of Nepishtim and the East games that have followed. In any case, once Zava detaches from the wall, she starts shooting a lot more shots, but no real changes otherwise. Okay, Dallas just throws out a lot more shots, and there's less time in between his first and second shot patterns. His second pattern also shoots out a lot more and even much faster shots. Like so. So, the window of opportunity to actually hit Dallas without getting gunned down is much smaller the higher you go in the difficulty rankings. Other than that, though, the same general strategies apply once more. Yeah, I would have to say Dallas and Garuda are probably my favorite East villains. Though Ernst does provide a bit of, perhaps unintentional hilarity near the end of Ark of Nepishtim, being dumb about managing your power isn't the same as being a decent villain. Okay, and last up is Hard Mode Dharm. Yeah, blah blah blah, we've heard all this before. Okay, I did equip the elixir because I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be able to beat this boss without it. Hard Mode Dharm is much more aggressive than normal mode Dharm, which means you still have far fewer opportunities to hit him properly, even here. You generally need to wait until Dharm is bound up in those rings, which I think is actually a property of the Goddess Ring. And to be honest, this is already much better than a lot of hard mode Dharm fights I've had before. Normally I'm not in such good shape once I reach the second phase. Whoa!
The thing is, if I was more careful with the beams, I probably would have been able to done it without having to drop the elixir. Well, that's something to work on for later, I guess. And there you have it. That's all the Hard-Mode East 2 bosses. And lastly, the East Complete version of the East 1 and 2 ending, because this is actually a bit different from the East Chronicles version of the ending, because the East Complete version has a lot of splash art that the Chronicles version doesn't. I am looking forward to the next inevitable re-release of East 1 and 2. I'm definitely going to play it as I have with pretty much any other version of East 1 and 2 I've gotten my hands on. Because I think it's the one game that I can trust that won't go darker and edgier in a remake, as has happened to so many other properties over the past decade or so. So anyway, this will be my last video of East 1 and 2. I had considered starting something else before doing this bonus video, but I kind of felt that my 100th YouTube video should be an East video. Even though I didn't get in on the whole ground floor of the franchise, you know, its original iterations or near to, it's still a franchise that has really grown on me over the past number of years. Well, even though it has had a couple of missteps here and there. Unfortunately, I don't have a PS Vita right now, so it'll probably be a little while before I'm actually able to play East Salsetta. But I'll get around to it eventually, one way or the other. And Dogie Noogies. In any case, that's about wrapping it up for East 1 and 2. And enjoy the little post-video bit now that it's actually working these days. Be seeing you next time.